Officially, this week, Spider-Man Brand New Day finally released in theaters 5 years after the release of Spider-Man No Way Home. With that, we have 11 Spider-Man movies. We got 3 Toby flicks, 2 Andrew flicks, 4 Tom flicks, and 2 animated Spider-Verse flicks. Now, I think it's a good time to rank all the Spider-Man films from worst to best. Now, I just want to give away some few warnings. This list is based on my opinion. And Spider-Man is one of those franchises where obviously it's one of the most popular comic book superhero franchises in history. And this is the kind of franchise where you have a specific take, whether you like something or you don't like something, and there'll be a little group of fans that will call you out for having that take. Now, because of that, this is just my opinion. If you disagree with my list, that's okay. You might prefer another Spider-Man movie, that's okay. We all got different opinions. Just don't be a jerk about someone liking another movie more than the one you like. With that said, Spider-Man is a character that means so much to me. I love Spider-Man. One of my earliest memories of going to the movie theaters in 2014 when I went to go see The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Now, even though I was terrified by the villains, I did get an understanding of who the character of Spider-Man is. Then after that, I remember going to see Captain America Civil War. I'm currently wearing a shirt right now. But yeah, it was a big event because it was Team Iron Man versus Team Cap, and everyone was debating, like, who's gonna win? Like, is Captain America gonna win or is Iron Man gonna win? I remember during that time, and I remember we went to go see it because we wanted to know who was gonna win, and that's when I met Tom Holland's Spider-Man for the first time on the big screen. And then I went to go see Avengers Endgame. That really helped me become a big Marvel fan. After seeing that, I got so obsessed with the MCU. Even before that, I went to go see Spider-Man to Spider-Verse, which was a movie I was really excited and looking forward to see, that made me fall in love with the character of Spider-Man. And then after Endgame, I went to go see Far From Home in theaters. Then I remember, like, probably one of the biggest fan experiences of my life is being part of the No Way Home hype train. I remember, like, looking at the leaks, looking at the rumors, watching videos of all the recent No Way Home news from leaks that the villains were coming back, and who knows, Toby and Andrew might return. I remember specifically watching the videos from The Cosmic Wonder and 3C Films. And I remember when the title got announced and we had the snapshots of the movie. And then I was getting really impatient for the trailer. We were all getting really impatient for the trailer. But it came out, we got so excited. And then the movie came out and it was a big roller coaster event. And then I remember going to see Across the Spider-Verse. And now I remember just going to see a Brand New Day, which at the time I'm recording this, it's been like, I think I saw it in Thursday. Right now I'm recording this in Saturday. But yeah. But essentially, these movies meant a lot to me personally. Each of these movies has really gave me a really fun, unique experience that only a fan could go through. But anywho, without further said, I just want to make it clear when it comes to ranking these movies, I like to review it as how well does it work as a movie, how does it work as a Spider-Man experience, and my personal connection with these movies. In last place, I got Spider-Man 3. Now, just because movies in this list are a lot lower, like are on the low of the list, doesn't mean I think it's bad. I kind of like Spider-Man 3. Now, there are some good things. I really like seeing Symbiote Spidey. I thought Sandman was a great villain, and I enjoyed Terry's arc, specifically at the end, where he decides to let go of his anger and his revenge-hungry self to go help Toby. But I do think this is the weakest one because it's got a theme of forgiveness, and I think it works on some characters, but it's hard to treat the movie seriously because this is adapting the symbiote story, and we get some cool scenes, but there's also Bully Maguire. Now, I enjoy Bully Maguire. I specifically enjoy the montage where he's just celebrating and then dancing. It's an iconic meme. But after that, I feel like it kind of overstays its welcome because specifically at the bar scene, because this is supposed to be the moment where Toby realizes, oh crap, like I'm becoming something I'm not. I need to get this off me. It's kind of hard to treat seriously when he's literally dancing like a freaking cartoon character. Like, that's the problem. It's hard to treat this movie seriously. Like, it's like reading an emotional novel, then you turn the next page, and the next page is literally covered in meme stickers. That's how this movie feels like to me. But again, that doesn't make it bad. But what I did not like was Venom. I did not like the fact that it felt like he was a mustache twirling villain. Him with the puns going like, "Hey Spidey, my spider sense is tingling." I was just not a fan of that. And Venom is my favorite Spider-Man villain, so it's kind of, I didn't really like how they adapted Venom in this movie, but overall, it's watchable. There are some good things. I really like Sam Raimi's direction. I really like seeing the amazing action sequences, specifically with Symbiote Spider-Man. But compared to the other ones, I'd rather watch the other movies, and I think this one has the most flaws for me. Up next is the first Spider-Man. Now, I know it's a hot take, and you guys are probably holding your pitchforks at the screen, and just calm down. I like this movie. Like, I give it an 8 out of 10. Just let me explain. Now, I really enjoyed this movie. I really liked how they handled the origin story of Toby becoming Spider-Man, and I really like Green Goblin. He's one of the greatest comic book villains of all time, and there's something really charming about the tone of this movie. It feels unlike any other comic book movie you've seen. Now, compare nowadays where all we get is these big comic book movies that are part of cinematic universes with big budgets, CGI. Looking back at the early ones, that was around a time where they weren't really as big as they used to be. Spider-Man was one of the first big comic book movies that revolutionized how Hollywood treated comic book movies. They took the source material seriously and focused on adapting the character, being faithful to the comic book version. Like, Blade was a great example, X-Men was a great example, but Spider-Man was the one that really kicked it off fully. And I will always give my flowers to this movie. It's basically the revolutionized comic book movies, and it was a great movie overall. My flaws with it, I think it's a bit, how do I say this? I think it kind of follows some of the childish cliches. I know it sounds weird, but basically we got the loser that's a nerd that gets bullied, but then he gets powers, he gets muscular, he's got a high school crush, and now after he's got the power, the crush is into him, and then there's this crazy villain that kidnaps the girl at the end. It's I'm not really a fan when they use these kinds of cliches in these movies, but again, that doesn't really make the movie bad. I think it's a great movie. I still give it like an 8 out of 10. When it comes to other Spider-Man films, I think they handled the story, the music, the suits, the action, the characterization a lot better. But this did set the foundation, and it did a great job with it. Up next is The Amazing Spider-Man 2. I know you fans think I'm crazy for putting TASM 2 over Spider-Man 1. And if you think I'm crazy, then I don't blame you. But I have a really personal connection to TASM 2. It's, like I said, it's the first Spider-Man movie I've seen in theaters. And that's the movie that introduced me to the character of Spider-Man. And I remember when I first went to go see it, I was, I didn't know what to think of it. All I knew was that I was deeply haunted by Electro and Green Goblin. But 10 years, I rewatched it. Looking at it now, it's got some big flaws. It's because it's obviously a messy movie. Obviously this was a victim to studio interference of Sony wanting to set things up, wanting to set up a cinematic universe. They wanted to set up Venom movies, Sinister Six movies, Aunt May's movies. No, I'm not kidding. They were actually going to make an Aunt May movie. And even Andrew Garfield said that he read the script, he loved it, but the editing kind of ruined the movie. and the studio is the one that gets the final say. And obviously there's problems. Rhino is a literal cartoonish character. I like his mech design, but the performance and characterization was just too over the top. I actually really like Electro. I think he's kind of underrated, but it's something about it kind of feels a bit rushed, and I'm not really a fan of the Max Dillon look, which is basically like a weird comb over and the gap tooth. And that leads for this really weird scene in his transformation scene where the electricity magically fixes his gap tooth. Yeah, that's obviously odd. And Green Goblin, I'm so frustrated with Green Goblin because I thought there was so much potential what they were building up. I like the chemistry between Peter and Harry and their scene when they're trying to reconnect, when they reunite. But after that, it kind of felt rushed and underwhelming. And I specifically don't like when he puts on the suit and he magically heals, meaning that because the entire plot is about him wanting Spider-Man's blood to cure himself from the retroviral hyperplasia. And when we get to that scene, it kind of feels like the setup has been for nothing, and it feels like they just brought him here to just kill off Gwen. And yeah, that's basically what they did, because they wanted to stick to the comic books. But other than that, I can sense the heart and passion of this movie. I absolutely love Andrew Garfield's Spider-Man. His suit is absolute perfection. I still think it's the best live-action Spider-Man suit. I think it's the best superhero suit of all time. If you think Brand New Day suit is better, then yeah, I can see that. But personally for me, I just love the big eyes, the logo, and the material. And we get some great action, great visuals. And when it comes, I know people like to make fun of the TASM 2 Glazer, saying like, oh, they only like it because it's like a TikTok edit. Yeah, but we enjoy it. It's a fun movie. And also, again, the chemistry between Peter and Gwen carries this movie. And I love how, with its theme of time, it all comes together at the final battle where Gwen dies. I really liked how they told the story of the death of Gwen Stacy. And overall, I think TASM 2, despite its flaws, it's a fun watch. It's a movie that means so much to me. I'll continue to defend this movie, but I will still acknowledge its flaws. Because when it comes to TASM 2, the people who hate it really hate it, and the people who like it really like it. Well, for me, I like it, but I can also acknowledge why people don't like this movie. But overall, TASM 2 will always have a special place in my heart. Up next is Spider-Man Far From Home. Possibly the most overhated Spider-Man movie. It's crazy that of all the Spider-Man films, this gets so much hate. And looking back at it, I do not know why, because I really like this movie. It's such a fun time, and people say that they don't like it, that he's not in New York. Personally, I don't mind it. It really helps the movie stand out compared to the other Spider-Man movies, and it gives something new and fresh to this movie. And I absolutely love Mysterio. I love how they adapted, and his sequences are absolutely out of this world, especially the illusion sequence where he's basically just torturing Peter. That was a really fun sequence, and I really like how they handled Peter's character after the crazy events of Infinity War and Endgame. Him dealing with Tony Stark's death. Everyone's expecting him to be the next Iron Man, but then he comes to him and is like, no, I'm not Iron Man. I'm Spider-Man. I don't need to be Iron Man. I need to be my own hero. And whereas I like to see it as like, whereas Homecoming was about Spider-Man learning to value Peter Parker, I see Far From Home as about Peter Parker learning to value Spider-Man. And I think it makes sense why he's kind of tired of being Spider-Man, because after all the crap he's been through in the Infinity War and Endgame. Because look, he went to space, he got dusted away for 5 years. He comes back and sees his mentor die. Of course he's going to want a vacation. And plus, it's not like he wanted to quit being Spider-Man. He just wanted to take a vacation. Just a little vacation. Then after that, he can just go back to being the friendly neighborhood Spider-Man. I think that it made sense what they did with this character. And plus, it's a fun time. It's so fun going all across Europe with these great action sequences. And also, I think it's really funny. I think this might be possibly the most entertaining Spider-Man movie. Like, if you just want to watch a fun movie that's Spider-Man, you can I'll just put on Spider-Man Far From Home, because it's a really fun one. But yeah, I think it's really solid and really overhated, and I really enjoy Far From Home. Up next is TASM, also known as The Amazing Spider-Man. Now, Andrew Garfield, personally for me, is my Spider-Man. He's my favorite Spider-Man. He's the one I grew up with. I also grew up with Tom's, but Andrew is the one that's my favorite personally. And I really like that they modernized the origin story. I think they did a great job of retelling it and reimagining it. And people like to say it's like, oh, it's a little too similar and it's kind of struggles to separate itself from the original one. Well, as for me, I don't know. I think it actually works as a modernization, a retelling of it, and it kind of shows how the story can really change, how high school can change under 10 years. This one is obviously a lot darker. I'm pretty sure it was inspired by Christopher Nolan. I'm pretty sure maybe that's what Sony wanted to do. But honestly, I really like how they handled the origin story. Of course, Peter Gwen's chemistry is fantastic. And I love Mark Webb's direction. I'm a big Mark Webb fan. I love what he brought to the franchise and to the character and to the whole universe, of him going in a lot more modernized, realistic way, but somehow not lose the fantastical elements of the comic books. And that especially shown in TASM 2, but I think he also did a great job in this movie. Where it kind of loses me, it's the Lizard. Now look, I really like how the character started off, but after he becomes the Lizard, that's when things go a little bit too far, and it kind of feels like a typical villain that wants to create this big city event. But overall, I think TASM 1 is a really great Spider-Man movie. Up next is Spider-Man 2, one of the most popular and beloved Spidey films, and I think it deserves to be. This film is the best of the Tobey films. I really like the story of Peter Parker trying to commit himself to being Spider-Man, but at the same time, there's this side to him like, God, I kind of wish I could just be Peter Parker because I want to be with MJ. Like, I just want a normal life, and I want to help my Aunt May with all this. I really liked how they handled that, and of course they adapted Spidey No More. Doc Ock was a really, really, really great villain. I think he might be the best Spider-Man villain. I do not know, but he's one of the best ones for sure. And of course we got some great action sequences, like the train sequence, absolutely phenomenal. It's a really great sequence. And New York feeling like a character, especially at the end of the train sequence where after all the crap that Peter has been through, like being broke, losing money, not being able to be with MJ, and the city has its back, and they help him and they say, hey, we won't tell anybody that you're just a kid. Like, we won't tell anybody how your face looks like. You're okay, and it's good to have you back, Spider-Man. That's a really great sequence. It's one of those types of sequences where New York City feels like a character and is always there for Spider-Man. I love those sequences. Where it kind of loses me on Spider-Man 2, honestly, it might have to be MJ. MJ is like my biggest flaw with the Tobey trilogy. And there's a ton of fans that do not like MJ. I don't really hate MJ, I just don't like her at all. But overall, Spider-Man 2 is a really great, iconic Spider-Man movie. Up next is Spider-Man Homecoming. I think this movie is really underrated, and it gets crapped on for it being too lame, that Spider-Man's too lame, the dumb Iron Boy Jr. card, in the fact is like, why does Peter want to be Spider-Man? Part of Spider-Man is that he wants to be a normal kid. Number one, this isn't the Tobey incarnation. This is a younger, more inexperienced Peter Parker. And after seeing Captain America Civil War, I think it makes sense, because basically it's this kid who had these powers for like 6 months. Out of nowhere, gets dragged onto this big airport battle with other superheroes. Tom gets a taste of how it's like to be a big time superhero. And of course it makes sense that he's super hyped up and it's like, God, I want to do more of this. And because of that, he completely loses and forgets the reason why he became Spider-Man. and part of the movie is him trying to learn what makes Spider-Man Spider-Man. It isn't that he needs to be a big time superhero, it's that he has to do the right thing. And Vulture is a really great villain. And plus the small scale stuff is such a breath of fresh air after the previous movies, because they always tend to go big. Like Green Goblin kidnapped MJ and children. Doc Ock's building this machine that could destroy the world. Venom's gonna kill MJ, and Sandman's gonna turn the city into sand. Lizard's gonna turn everyone into lizards. Electro turns off the power. Gwen dies. Like all that big stuff. It's so refreshing to get something a lot more smaller in scale. And Vulture basically doesn't want to take over the world. He just wants to help his family. He just needs to steal this stuff from Tony Stark, so that way he can make some money and help his family. It's a smaller thing, but it absolutely works. And I also kind of like that Spider-Man is a bit lame. It kind of shows that he's this little kid and he still hasn't got the hang of his powers, and soon he will get more control of his powers, so he could become a better Spider-Man. So yeah, I kind of like that he's a little lamer here. And also, I really love the high school focus. This movie focuses on high school more than the other movies. I love that they show just his life and how it's like to be a high schooler, very John Hughes-esque, and John Watts really brought this really youthful high school-esque tone to the franchise. But overall, I think Homecoming is so underrated. Like Hat Guy said, when it came out, it was the best Spider-Man movie ever. Up next is the recent one, Spider-Man Brand New Day. Now, after No Way Home, I personally wasn't that excited for this one, because I had no idea what you could do with this. Because you ended No Way Home so well, like what could you do with the next one? And seeing the trailers, I was really looking forward to it. And then when I saw it, yeah, it was a really great movie. It's like the inverse of Spider-Man 2. But this time it's like Peter Parker no more. When Tom is so committed to being Spider-Man, and he's afraid that if he makes connections with MJ and Ned, they could be in danger, and they really let his spider side get the better of him. And of course, I'm not going to spoil what happens here, but they handled Tom's arc really well, and it's probably easily the best looking Tom movie. And this is basically the movie that Spider-Man fans want. A more personal, mature Peter Parker story, and I think they did a great job here. And I'm really looking forward to see what they're going to do with the next one. And I think Destin Daniel Cretton was the right choice to continue this saga. And I'm really excited and looking forward to the future of Spider-Man in the MCU. I will say, I wish it was a little more fun, because if it's fun, then I would rewatch it more. But again, that doesn't make it worse. It's just a little nitpick. It's not really a big deal. And also, making it fun isn't really necessary to the story they were trying to tell. And they did a great job telling the story that they were trying to tell. But overall, Brand New Day is another great welcome inclusion into the Spider-Man filmography. Next is Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. Now, this is one of the most ambitious superhero movies ever made, because you're basically bringing the whole Spider-Verse here. Multiple Spider-Man, bigger stakes, a goofy villain with the spots. You're bringing in 2099, a whole society of spider people. Like how are you gonna nail it? And they did nail it. It's a lot bigger than the first one, has better animation, and it's obviously a part one, so it does end on a huge cliffhanger, and that's pretty much the reason why it isn't higher than the other two movies I'm about to talk about. But hopefully Beyond the Spider-Verse sticks the landing, because this could potentially be possibly the greatest trilogy of all time, and the greatest comic book trilogy of all time. And I really love how they handled the lore when it comes to canon events, and with Miles and the spider bite from the first movie. And Spot was a really great character. Started out as this goofy kind of villain, but then quickly grows into this big threatening multiversal threats. I think they did a great job with that. But overall, this did a great job of continuing the story from the first film and brought some new lore, brought some new DNA to it, and really did a good job setting things up for the third film, which I'm still waiting for. Sony, could you, I know this may seem too much, but can you drop a trailer, please? Like, I really want to see this movie. Could you at least give me more of a sneak peek of what I'm looking forward to? Please. Then second place is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. If TASM 2 introduced me to the character of Spider-Man, Into the Spider-Verse showed me why people love Spider-Man. This is the movie that got me fully into Spider-Man, that made me love this character, this whole franchise, and obviously this changed animation forever with this new style, making it feel and look like a comic book. And we also get a great villain with Kingpin, of him wanting to use his collider just to get his family back. He was a great villain. And of course, Prowler is a standout. And I really like how they handled Miles' origin story in Peter B's arc. And it was fun seeing the other Spider-Man like Gwen, Noir, Penny, and Spider-Ham. They're welcome additions. But yeah, honestly, it's a perfect movie. It's such a perfect movie. From beginning to end, it's a perfect movie. It tells a great story. What else can I say about Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse? It's obviously a perfect movie. Like, what else can I say about it that so many people have said about it? It's just a great movie. But on first place is Spider-Man No Way Home. This is the best Spider-Man movie. Well, in my opinion, of course. Now, this movie is starting to get some hate because it's like, oh, it's just nostalgia fest. And some people misunderstand, like, oh, this fixed MCU Spider-Man. They resetted him because they messed up in the previous two. Well, no, they concluded what they were setting up in Homecoming. Of him finishing this origin arc, of him becoming the adult Spider-Man we know and love. And it's not really nostalgia fest. It's a celebration of 20 years worth of Spider-Man. And this did possibly the impossible. Finishing Tom's origin arc. And also bringing back all these villains and Toby and Andrew, and find a way to make their inclusion feel organic to this story and its theme of second chances, and finishing off their stories. They did the impossible. It did a phenomenal job with bringing back these characters that we've come to love over 20 years, since the first Spider-Man in 2002 to Andrew Garfield's first film in 2012 to this one. And of course, he got Tom Holland, making the hardest choice of his life, of sacrificing everything he's built upon since Civil War, of making the biggest sacrifice. Because that's the thing about Spider-Man. It's about sacrifice for the greater good. And this sacrifice is basically, of course, making everyone forget about him. But that's the thing about Spider-Man. He will always do the right thing. And whenever Spider-Man wins, Peter Parker loses. Absolutely love this movie. It's such a great film. I love No Way Home with all my heart. It gave me such a great experience, not just because of how great the movie was, but also because of the hype surrounding it. This movie is an experience unlike any other movie that I've witnessed. But overall, that's just my list and opinion on Spider-Man rankings. Feel free to throw down your list in the comments section. Tell me which is your favorite Spider-Man movie, which one is your least favorite. Just don't be a jerk about other people having different opinions. With that said, if you enjoyed this video, leave a like. And if you want to see more videos, then I recommend to click the subscribe button and ring the bell for notifications below. With that said, that's all I got to say. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you guys later. Bye.